There was a bit of a spring in the step of the GTA housing market last month as sales went up in the month of March as compared to March of 2025. That's despite a flat showing from last month. So where is the housing market heading?
All right, there's a lot going on in the market. So let's break this down, because underneath everything you're hearing, there are a few key shifts happening that are going to determine what happens next. And most people are completely missing the points. And depending on how these three layers play out, you could be buying into stability, or you can be walking into the next move down without realizing it. First, what actually happened in March? Second, why TD's downgrade matters. And yes, they downgraded again. And third, why Ontario's population slowdown matters way more than most people realize. Because here's the thing, the market is not moving on hope right now. It's actually moving on fundamentals. And lately, the trend has been downgrade after downgrade. This is not an anomaly. Now, the March numbers actually surprised a lot of people, and not in the way you'd expect. So let's start with March in the GTA. Sales came in at 5,039 units, which was actually up, so that's positive, by 1.7% year over year. So yes, technically sales improved just slightly, but here's the part people need to pay attention to. New listings dropped down by 16.7% year over year. So you had sales ticking up just a little, while fresh supply coming to the market dropped.
You look at new listings for March, they're actually down a little bit year over year. And so you could also be seeing a bit of that wait and see attitude where people are saying, look at, I don't need to sell right now. I'm going to wait to see what happens with the housing market generally, with prices. I'm also going to wait to see what happens from an economic perspective. And so, you know, some people are keeping their powder dry, so to speak.
Now on price, the benchmark, which is the HPI composite, was down 7.4% year over year. Now, at first glance, that might not sound dramatic, but the big takeaway is very simple. Whichever way you slice it, prices are still under pressure. And before somebody says, yeah, but rates came down, so housing should bounce, not so fast, because the Bank of Canada path has clearly come down from 2024 levels. But the bigger point right now is that rates are looking more neutral for housing this year. They're not low enough to save the market. And that's the key. We're not looking at some big rate driven rescue plan here. If rates flatten, which is what the market expects, then demand has to stand alone on its own. And that is where things get a little more interesting. And when rates stop being the story, something else takes over. And this is the shift most people are not seeing yet. And this is where I think a lot of people are getting the GTA market completely wrong. This is not only about price, it's a demand story. Because if fewer people are coming in, if rents are softening, and if buyers are still waiting for a clear bottom, I think I saw a report that over 100,000 people are waiting on the sidelines. I don't know how truthful that statement is, but there are many people waiting. Then clearly lower prices alone doesn't fix the market. And that brings us to the population part, because if demand is weakening at the same time prices are falling, that's not a bottom, that's pressure building. Take a look at this. Population growth is cooling across Canada, but Ontario stands out for the wrong reason. Ontario is showing one of the weakest trends, roughly negative year over year. And BC is right there beside them. That matters a lot because one factor that was driving the market was the influx of new people competing for the same home. Real estate is not just driven by rates alone here, guys. It's driven by people forming households, people arriving, people renting, people upgrading, investing. And let's not forget the cost has to financially make sense. Affordability is out the window. And the economy has to be resilient to provide jobs so people can afford housing, that people can financially afford home ownership. And specifically when population growth slows or reverses, especially in the market like Ontario that leaned heavily on demand, the entire housing equation changes. Less rental pressure, less investor urgency, less fear of missing out. And once that momentum fades, it doesn't come back overnight. Now let's talk about TD. This wasn't a minor adjustment to their 2026 forecast. This was a meaningful downgrade. Didn't wake up and throw a dramatic headline. They downgraded their 2026 outlook because the market was weaker than expected through late 2025 and early 2026. So 2026, the first quarter wasn't impressive. Their wording, not mine. They point directly to Ontario and BC having the sharpest downgrade to sales and price growth. They also pointed to a subdued economy, ongoing cost of living pressure, strained affordability, and buyers waiting on the sidelines for a clear bottom. And let's be real, this war is not making confidence any better. And this is where expectations start to reset.
Speaking of geopolitics, Donald Trump is out tweeting today that he's going to obliterate, the country of Iran, which I'm sure, markets don't like that. Does that level of geopolitics have much of an impact on the GTA housing market?
Well, I think just taking it from an economic perspective, if you think about, the cost of oil and the impact that can have on inflation, then obviously over the longer term, that could also impact borrowing costs as well in a negative manner. And I think, if you think about people on the sidelines taking a bit of a wait and see attitude, that may be one of the factors that's giving some people pause.
And this is a setup for a slower, weaker recovery than most people expected. That is very different from the saying that recovery is right around the corner. Downgrades are not the exception anymore. They are the trend. And that's what the conclusion of many analysts and banks, not upside, downgrades. And if you're sitting on a property right now and you're not sure whether to sell into this market or wait, that decision alone could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Book a call below if you have any questions. We'll walk you through your exact situation. No pressure, just real numbers. And now let's talk about condos, because this is one of the clearest weak spots. And the supply story in the GTA condo market has been building for a while. Active condo listings have climbed well above historical norms. And that elevated supply is still a problem, because when you have that much product just sitting around, buyers get more choice and investors start questioning the math, which they are. And if rental demand is softer, rents are flattening or falling, and financing is still expensive against inflated prices, then condo investors don't have the same conviction they once had a few years ago. And that's why condos matter so much right now, regardless if you're looking to buy a condo or not. This is usually where weakness shows up first. It's not just a condo story, it's a signal for the entire market. And it's usually an early one. So what does this all mean? If you're a buyer in the GTA, you have a lot more options. And you have a lot more options in certain products. But if you use old strategies in this market, you're going to overpay without realizing it. You should understand the trend on prices. This is so important in that specific area that you're looking in for that specific house type. And that's what we do for our clients, because it tells a story. It shows a pattern, because the last thing you want is to buy something and by the time you move in, it's gone down in value, because it's happened to a lot of people. This is not a market where you should feel rushed by old narratives. Not everywhere, not on every home, but in general, things have shifted. If you're buying, the question is not, should I panic and jump in before prices run away? The better question is, what am I buying? What's the holding power? And how exposed is that area to weak demand? Because that's a great question. Because some segments will stabilize faster than others, and some sellers are still priced for a market that no longer exists. If you're selling, this is where honesty matters. You cannot price emotionally. And if you miss the market on pricing right now, you don't just sit, you chase the market down. Many people are doing that right now, and you definitely cannot make up a price because buyers are so much more informed now than they were before. Buyers right now are more cautious and more skeptical, which they should be. So if your home is in a segment where supply is rising, demand is softer, or affordability is stretched, the market will punish overpriced listings very fast. That does not mean nothing is selling, but they're selling when pricing, presentation, and expectations match reality. And right now, reality has shifted. So moving forward, here's what I'd be watching very closely. Do sales actually build from here? Was March just a small blip? Does the new supply stay constrained, or do listings start opening up again? That's another important factor. Does Ontario's weak population trend continue? And do the banks and economists keep walking their outlooks lower? Because the next phase of this market is not going to look like the last one. And now that you understand why this is a demand-driven market, what happens next between Canada and the US is going to matter more. Because believe me when I tell you, that will make or break how 2026 and beyond will play out, because that's so important. So stay in the know.